be mad at it. Where do you sit? Was it here? Was it together? Let's sit together. Yes, I like it. So,
this is so comedically far away.
I know, it's like I tried to pull it closer earlier and it didn't stay. There we go. Nice.
Thank you.
So welcome, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Corpus Christi Comic Con. Is it your first time in Corpus Christi?
It is lovely.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you guys all had this beautiful waterfront situation going on. I've heard all about the bridge drama.
Oh gosh. Yes.
Yeah, I know everything.
We're on year 87 on that bridge.
And everyone has been, first of all, let me just go out of my way to say thank you to everyone who I've met for not only stopping by, but for being like exceptionally kind and chill. Thank you.
No, there's a lot of love for you here, Rachel. A lot of us, of course, like, you hear this every time, but we, grew up watching your films, really fallen in love with you, and still in love with you. And, I got a really great opportunity to kind of, as much as I felt like I knew you just from the projects you've done, did a little bit of deep diving, looked at some of your interviews, and you just seem like such a genuinely cool, down-to-earth, like, just awesome individual. So I just really was excited to interview you today.
I really, really appreciate that. And I appreciate your YouTube deep dive or whatever nonsense you found about me.
Not at all, no nonsense.
I think I pride myself a little bit on being what I guess I would call being like a knowable person, just in terms of like, I love humans and I love connection, and I think that's my favorite thing about being an actor is probably other weirdo actors like myself, that we all just love to get into it and overshare and, like just, have those heart-to-heart moments, like, hope to meet all of you today. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that.
Yes, well, one of the things that we kind of actually talked a little bit, Joey Fatone was the last interview I did here.
Yes, good luck, Joey.
Yeah, so great. And we talked about how you could tell, I had Lou Diamond yesterday too, how you can tell right away. I mean, we really can. I mean, we feel like we can all agree on this. Like, when someone's here at one of these Comic Cons and genuinely loves it. They embrace everything that people probably yell at them every time, every other day. But they love the fans, they love the connections, and you can read that off of someone really quickly, in my opinion. Lou's great, he loves his fans, Joey loves his fans. You are one of those, I feel like, genuinely loves your fans, loves to be here, is present, and wants to connect. And it's very apparent, and you can feel it off of you. And, so again, we're just really happy that Rachael Leigh Cook is here with us, guys, are we not? I'm so excited.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And like, call me by my name, just little things like that just really make a difference, I'm telling you. So I know, again, I just want to start from kind of the beginning. Let's talk about, like, you're young, acting. You started from a very young age. You did a lot of the kind of like the ad prints, the target things, the PSAs. We all see the PSAs. So your journey started really, really early on. And so you've been in this business for a while. You've probably seen it evolve a lot through the time, through the decades, even from some of the films you did early on to what we're looking at now, how times have changed since then even. And looking a lot of that in retrospect, what are your feelings on your journey as an actor at this point in time? Like, from your very early beginnings until today and the things you're doing now. She now produces. She's very much involved behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera. She has a wonderful, like, her rom-coms are so fun to watch.
Do you want me? I love my publicist, so I can't actually hire you, but you are, if Brandy changes careers, you are my new publicist.
Can we get that on record? Can somebody is recording this?
100%.
I am there, I'm done, I'm leaving, bye guys, I'll see y'all later. But no, I mean, really, there's really cool shows. Like, there's so many things that I've watched that I was like really impressed with, like, what you did, what you've embraced too. Like, some people are like, I'm a serious actor and only do serious, like, indie pieces, which you have also dabbled in and done as well. But she loves feel-good movies, y'all, and she likes being a part of that. Like, isn't that why we're all here at these Comic Cons? Because these actors, these artists have made us feel something at some point during our time, whether it's happy things or sad things or just whatever emotions that we're going through. And you've brought so much joy with what you're doing now and some of those projects that you're doing today. So again, kind of walk me through some of these, like, evolutions through your career. I know it's a big question, but...
No, I appreciate that so much, and you could not have said it better than with your thesis statement of, you have seen things change a lot, and yes, I wouldn't have seen, I can't, just to go on that tangent first, what was extra different about when sorry about the echo, oh my god. I'd say the biggest difference back then was just that the pool was so much smaller. You couldn't just be a, say, 15-year-old, you know, funny YouTuber and hope that you just find an audience and then you somehow just get signed with William Morris and whatever. Like, none of that was on the table. People, you know, who started when I did, they really had this sort of conundrum of, I don't have tape, so how do I get an agent? I can't get an agent if I don't have tape. And the people didn't know how to begin. So how I began was that I was just lucky enough to be cast in something small, local, and then got a little traction and just managed to keep going. But I saw things change in the sense that even when I was able to do Josie and the Pussycats, not being able to sing at all. Thank you, Kay Hanley, who's the voice of Josie. Yeah, that never would have happened. There would have been a nationwide search for someone who can, yeah, and also can't play guitar, not to brag, but kind of figured that out-ish. But that never would have happened. So I've seen things change in that sense. Back then, people made studio movies willy-nilly. Someone would probably be in a meeting and be like, what about Super Mario Brothers, but like the movie? And someone was like, great idea, rubber stamp it, go make it, whatever. Now it's just, everyone is so careful, everything is so strategic, everything is so fraught financially in the industry in terms of their returns.
Almost to a degree where I feel like it's dissected too much, like they overthink it to where things don't get greenlit because, I don't know, they feel like it may not appeal to a certain demographic or it doesn't, you know, for whatever reason. And it's like, I feel like we missed out on so many fun things that could have come to fruition and happen because of that. But I'm glad you were a part of that scene when it wasn't
really,
quite as...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think like advanced, you know, AI and VFX, you know, becoming more cost effective will actually enable more things to be able to get made. People will be able to, with the right technology, make superhero movies with their friends, you know, against a green screen in their garage if they want to. So I think we're going to see a lot of exciting
we've seen fan fiction stuff. I mean, what was it recently? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Remember that, like, they did, like, kind of like a fan kind of deal. It looked really cool. They did a trailer for, like, a serious drama on Fresh Prince. And they actually took that, Will Smith thought, and then they created Bel-Air, which was now on Peacock.
Cool.
I just thought about this right now. But yeah, so I mean, it's possible. There are avenues, I think, when people see something and go, huh, maybe you're onto something there, and it turns into something else. So, but let's talk a little bit about your producing skills that you got as executive producer, Rescuing Christmas. I think that just like July, they kind of did like a Christmas in July thing where they kind of brought that around.
It originally aired on the Hallmark Movies Now app, which you can do a 7-day free trial of.
Do that. Do it, guys.
Yeah, I think, or even if you have a library card. Anyway, but it also just aired as part of Christmas in July on Hallmark Channel. I love that movie. It's not as relationship centric. It's really, it sounds buzzy, but fun for the whole family. It is a good like family classic, and or I hope classic someday. And yeah, I'm really proud of that one. I started producing and working after working for the first time with the Hallmark Channel. It's such a positive experience and something that I made for them. And I heard that they're really incredible about, you know, lifting up, you know, their sort of female stars and empowering them. And almost all the brass there are women. Like they're so they are such a family. It's such a cliche to say, but like they really, you know, put their money where their mouth is, investing in women, which I love. And I am such a true fan of the genre. I'm somebody who, like those of you who have seen my Hallmark stuff or my two for Netflix, just like a little bit too soft for this world sometimes. It's like something like, if you're one of those people who, like, you know, you hear something really, really sad and it throws you for like a day to a week at a time, like we understand each other, like that kind of feeling. So making this kind of content has always just felt very true for me. So I mean it. And yeah, other people can make the super dark, super scary stuff, knock yourselves out. I feel like I have a beautiful home here.
I love that you do that, like, unapologetically, like, you know, because, you know, sometimes people say, like, oh, the Hallmark movies, it's like, I love Hallmark movies. Like, what better scenario can you think of than during the holidays, at home, it's cold outside, and you're kind of, and you're making, like, cookies, or you're making hot cocoa, and you're just binging Hallmark Channel. I mean, it's like, I look forward to that every year. Like, it's so fun.
It's medicinal.
And it makes you feel good. Yes.
Yeah, it's great. And, like, you know, We are also, I say we because I'm lucky enough to, again, be in business with Hallmark, but they are looking more and more to be, still in the feel-good space, but to be confused with other, high-profile streamers in terms of their content. They are really looking for ways to surprise us and elevate what they're doing.
I've seen that, especially recently in some projects you've been in. It does feel elevated, it does feel thoughtful, it's well written, it's well produced. And it's just a great experience watching a lot of those films. And then I know you've started your production company is called, I love that it's called,
Ben's Sister.
Ben's Sisters Productions, which is so fun. She has a brother named Ben, obviously.
Yes.
But I love that that's what you called your production company. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's because when I was starting out, my brother, I was, just disproportionately just getting a little bit more attention than Ben, and I remember I had to deal with just like a little bit of like, oh, you're Rachel's brother, and so out of respect for him, I named it Ben's Sister. And now my brother's like a big deal producer, so it just seems like I'm trying to like ride his coattails, which is great. But I love my little brother.
I have a little brother too, so just seeing him.
So you get it, yeah.
I get it. He's 3 years younger than me. He's usually here at the con, but he's in San Antonio. But anyway,
oh my God. Ben would love to be here. He put together that show, The Expanse, which probably a bunch of people here have been familiar with. Yes. The writers of the book's dedicated, I think it's book 4 or 5, to Ben. It says, To Ben Without Home. And he's also working on Blade Runner 2099 right now.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, everyone would probably rather Ben was here right now.
I love it. That's so cool. I love it. I love it. So let's get into, I know we all want to talk about some of our favorite things that we've seen in the past, so let's get into it. She's All That. Let's just open that little can up right there. Laney Boggs, the pretty ugly girl. Can we talk about that trope? Like, what do you feel about that trope? Because it's been talked about since then, and it's been another, that's not just only She's All That. I mean, you've seen that in other ways where it's like the girl with the glasses and the ponytail, and then you take all the glasses and the ponytail and you put makeup on, it's like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. This is like, it's kind of a thing that's been talked about, but I think it's also gotten a bad rap a little bit, in my opinion. So there's some people that have kind of said, it's not really like true, like she's born pretty, and it's really just a matter of like changing a couple things, you put makeup on. But I think it goes deeper than that for me, because I know that there has been a lot of people, you can really, honestly, if you get a good pair of hair and makeup people on pretty much anybody, you can look great. I mean, if you have the right people working on you. But I think most people, when they feel like they're the ugly girl or guy in a situation, especially in high school, sometimes it has to do with social, standing, like, you can't afford some of the things that maybe some of your other people can, or you like things like, I don't know, nerdy stuff, like Star Wars and Harry Potter and things that like are maybe not seen as cool in high school, and you do get kind of a stigma put on you, and it can be rough. And then, in a scenario like She's All That, a little bit of a makeover changed her whole like kind of situation in that movie. But she did learn something at the end of that movie, where it wasn't about looks, it wasn't about being pretty. So like, just maybe your thoughts on that pretty girl, that ugly pretty girl trope, I guess.
Sure. First of all, we're all thinking what I have to ask, which is, are those real glasses?
Oh yeah.
I just had to ask. I was like,
I heard that you kept your glasses. Is that true?
I do have them.
The actual Laney Boggs glasses.
They're weirdly small. I was like, am I still growing? Like,
I have a thing about that. Like, I feel like glasses are too small for my face, and that's why I have these giant goggles.
They look good. They look really good.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Let me see, just to like sort of start from the beginning of what you're saying. I don't think it really is She's All That. Like, Laney has that line where Freddie's like come up to her and he's like trying to engage, and she just says, "I'm not smart. I'm not going to tutor you, okay?" Like, and he's like, "I get great grades. I don't want you to tutor me." It's like she does not think that she is unattractive. Like, when people suggest that she should look different, she's kind of like, well, I don't know why I would bother with doing all of that. That is nonsense. But her adjustment is so, I don't need to like create or stand up on a soapbox about this, but I don't see it as, as solely external makeover or movie. It's, I think, a lot closer to Taming of the Shrew. Not that she's shrewish, but in the sense that it's her attitude that has the biggest evolution, really throughout the movie.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, again, sometimes don't realize that a lot of these movies that were adapted into kind of like a modern, scenario sense was pulled from Pygmalion, for instance, My Fair Lady. My Fair Lady, if you guys are familiar with that. I remember also watching Clueless when I was really young, and I did not know until later that it was based off of Emma. So there's a lot of those that actually kind of recycled things that come in a new way, in a new modern twist. And that was actually all that. So during the course of that movie, that staircase scene where you walk down, I mean, I'm sure you had no idea it was going to be as iconic as it became after that.
I grew up with, oh my God, I probably know who remembers this, but I loved this Tony Danza movie when I was young called She's Out of Control, where he's the dad of this teenager, has sort of a transformative moment and becomes very beautiful, and I always loved that movie, and so I never felt when we were filming that moment that it was anything that I would certainly be sitting on a stage and talking to people about. I thought I was sort of participating in a much larger group of people who had done that exact same moment. And now I realize we're a smaller club than I kind of thought.
What a moment, though. I mean, that's probably that iconic part of the film that I think stays with us, and you feel something when that moment happens, and you see Freddie Mercury's face as he looks at her, and it's just like, do you just crave moments like that? Like, I want that moment. Everybody wants that moment. Have you ever experienced
that? That can happen for you.
Yes. Have you ever experienced a moment like that? Real life?
I mean, I think now when I might be in anything kind of like that moment, I think I felt the pressure of that moment, and I was less than half my age right now in that moment, so I don't really think about it.
Well, what about the difference doing He's All That? Like that, so years later, He's All That, you can also watch that on Netflix if you haven't. Talk about maybe those differences and what, in retrospect, what have they kind of turned on its head a little bit since She's All That with this kind of new iteration and being a part of that?
Well, it was a perfect marker of time and the evolution of the world at large and how much things have changed, in the sense that the biggest takeaway feeling I had from that shoot was getting to my first wardrobe fitting, actually, and Denise was back doing costumes, who had done the original, and she's somehow even more brilliant. But I remember thinking, how wild that everyone, all these trucks, all these people are here because of something that we did 20 years ago at that point. It's how wild that people have a job in this moment because of that. And we were filming it during COVID. I was wow, there's an urgency to this even? Like this right now? Okay. And with someone, famous because of social media, like Addison Rae, that was, again, just a perfect marker of the time. Because her celebrity, not just the fact that people needed a reboot of our movie, is what got that made. And so, yeah, just kind of a perfect storm of, a time to bring it back. And I really just wanted to be a forward-facing support and to take part and just give them sort of my blessing, endorsement, wish them well. I remember saying, I hope this movie's as kind to you as your first one was to me.
That's awesome. Well, it was definitely an iconic movie for many of us, and it stays with us to this day. Also, another movie that had a huge, probably I fangirled a little bit more off this one than even She's All That, because I love music, and I'm like, Josie and the Pussycats, y'all. That's why I'm wearing my cat ears.
I was going to say, the ears tell a story, and they really suit you, by the way.
Thank you. It's funny, I used to, because I'm weird like this, I used to wear cat ears sometimes to work as an adult, as a grown woman who acts like a 13-year-old still.
Where did you work at this point?
Now I work from home, so it doesn't really apply, but I was working at iHeartMedia for years, which is radio and digital, and I would go wearing cat ears, and people kind of knew me as the girl that wore cat ears.
And then Ariana stole it from you.
And then what? And then, it's fine.
We don't know.
No, but people would actually tell me, everyone's like, there's Josie, hi Josie, because like they would make a reference to that, and I loved it, because I was like, I love that movie, and I love Rachael Leigh Cook.
Thank you.
Such a fun movie, and again, one of those that, in retrospect, I really feel it wasn't valued, it wasn't seen for what it was at the time, but now, such a huge, like the cult following, the phenomenon that is a cult following. What a weird thing that must be. Years later, for it to finally get the recognition I feel like it really deserves. And
Deb Kaplan and Harry Elfont, who wrote the movie, and so much of the music, the writing is the star of that movie. It's so damn good, and I love this, sort of late stage validation for them more than anybody. And I love that we have this this movie that got its due.
It's just so fun, and it holds up today in a lot of ways. I mean, yeah, there's little differences on, obviously, it's still kind of pre-social media boom, but so much of it I still feel like applies today, especially like product placement and like the influence on the masses, and just fun things like that they kind of threw in there. But one of the things I thought was interesting as far as getting cast for this, so I didn't know you auditioned for Can't Hardly Wait. That wasn't, so that could have been you in Can't Hardly Wait?
Apparently not.
That would have been wild though. Like, how wild would that have been? And they used that as the way to get you into, like, they saw that audition.
Yeah, I mean, I remember meeting them for Can't Hardly Wait. I tried out for Jennifer Love Hewitt's part, and they were, I remember this. I don't think I've even talked to Deb and Harry about this. But they almost said something to me in the room, like, we're really sorry, like, because they were already in negotiations with her. And that happens some of the time, but damn, did they make up for it. Wow. By the way, Can't Hardly Wait, great movie.
Oh yeah, another great movie from
Yeah.
that era for sure. Yeah, I would say that Josie and the Pussycats captured like a very specific turn of the century cultural vibe. I was actually watching, we were talking backstage a little while ago with one of the volunteers here, and I was just like, she was such a vibe. Like the cut, the little pixie cut, the look, the whole, I was like, you just wanted to be her when you watched her on screen. And then when you did Josie and the Pussycats, you now have this like rock and roll thing going on, just super cool. It really did, it's like almost like a time capsule for that early 2000 kind of, same with She's All That, where you kind of look back at that and like, yeah, you can timestamp that. Like,
Oh, it is actively timestamped. It is, I have no eyebrows almost. It is.
nobody did during
It
that
is all
time.
happening. I was watching Modern Family the other week with my kids, and I didn't catch it in real time, so luckily we're watching it now. And Sarah Hyland has this line where she says, oh my God, I can't even, like, I went to the movies and I saw this woman trying to pull off red hair with olive skin, and I almost had to turn it off. I was like, oh no, I think she might be talking about me. I'm not usually paranoid that people are doing that, but it was like right around the time I think that the movie might have even come out, so I was like, are they talking about Josie? Because I should not have had red hair, y'all. Like,
I would you rock that red hair.
I did not.
It
What is the darker tones? I think sorry, we're doing a deep dive on hair color. But as they would wash either my hair or what later became like a wig, like red changes color fast. Like, yeah, it's a lot of maintenance.
No, I get it. Gotta do a little bit of dye too.
It looks so good.
Indigo, that's what Luke done with because that's stars. I'm really excited that he said that.
Oh my God, and he's a hometown boy. I didn't
Yeah,
realize.
we had a nice little conversation on Friday about Corpus Christi and Waterbury and all that.
Yeah, for anyone who missed his panel, he's now meeting up with some friends of his we went to high school with. They're very cute. They all played football together. It's so cute. Yeah.
Well, again, some of the vibe with Josie and the Pussycats, of course, I'm wearing my cat ears today, we talked about that, but the clothes, the outfits, just the music. So I know you mentioned a little bit about, you didn't sing those notes, unfortunately, but very believable, by the way.
You did not want me to do that.
But Kay Hanley from Letters to Cleo sang those parts, which I love that band too. So cool. It was such a perfect fit, I feel, for that vibe. But yeah, you did still have to go through like stringent like training, musical training to pretend, like act like you knew how to play the guitar, you know, mouth the words for everything for months. Can I tell you that, speaking of Lou, when he was up here, he had to do the same for La Bamba. He did it in a week, and he said he couldn't, he's like, I have no idea how I did that in a week.
Very well is how you did it.
I mean, that's impressive. In a week. And I saw that it was like, for months they went through that with you guys for the music for that show.
Might have been.
Well, not 7 months, I don't know.
Might have been slightly over a month for a couple hours here and there. Yeah, but they did send us to learn to play the instruments. Yeah, and then we probably did a full week of like, you know, trying to be together and vibe on stage as a band, which was pretty fun.
And Tara Reid having to learn how to play the drums. Like,
she had the hardest job because I could have been getting a couple, you know, like hand positions wrong. The directors had friends who are musicians, and recently Sean Penn had sort of like gotten, you know, some flack for, I guess, not perfectly playing and when he played a musician in his movie at that time. So we sort of got the blowback from him getting that criticism. And then when Deb and Harry wanted to impress their musician friends with how accurate we were. But Tara had the hardest job, because if you go like this on the drums, everyone can hear it. So it's like she had to be more accurate than any of us, and yeah, I felt for her.
Drums is tricky. You have to kind of split your brain into like the bass drum at the top. I mean, it's tricky. So it's tricky for all of you guys, I'm sure, to do that, but still impressive, very believable, looked really great. Did you study the boy/girl band phenomenon during that time and kind of as research?
By virtue of like being that age and in that, you know, world. You know what I mean? It's so wonderful to see like Joey running around here. I'm like, I used to see you at parties back in the day.
Let's talk about du jour. Like,
oh my God.
It's just the best, like...
Du jour means friendship.
Huh?
Du jour means friendship. Du jour means crash position.
Yeah, there we go. But like Seth Green and Breckenmeyer and Donald Faison, like in that role was just the best thing ever. Like it was just so hilarious. I almost brought it up to Joey, but then I was like, no, let's not talk about that with Joey. But I mean, it was just such a cool part of that movie. Also,
oh yeah, you should have been there 2 nights ago. I saw Seth at the premiere of Freddie Prinze Jr.'s new movie. Yeah, so we were just hanging out. It was wonderful.
And you, of course, you've had, you know, Robot Chicken has also been.
You were up way too late.
I really was at one point, very late, actually doing this. But no, I mean, there's just so many connections with that. With Seth. Did you meet Seth during that movie?
I had met him before that at Sundance. I can't remember what. Yes, I had met him before. I'll just leave. I can't remember much more than that. It was a long time ago.
Well, I also heard a story, and you brought it up at one point, that people are such a huge fan of this movie, that there was a guy who watched it every day for a year?
This is not my idea. To be clear.
So he just came up to you and was like, I am so obsessed with that movie, I watch it every single day.
I mean, it was when Twitter was less kind of lame, sorry. I just remember him sort of flagging his efforts to all of us and stating it in the beginning, like, I will be watching this movie every day for a year. And I was like, oh, let's see how long he makes it. He did it, guys. He did it.
I believe it. I do. I truly do. So I want to go ahead. I would like for you guys, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and start lining up. I might ask her another quick thing, but go ahead and start lining up here at this microphone. And we're going to have someone kind of talk with you, make sure we're good to go, and then we'll start doing questions from the audience here in a second. Thanks, guys. And I also just want to read this real quick again, just to kind of round it out with Josie and the Pussycats. Variety gave a review. There were some people that didn't give it a great review at the time, whatever. But Joe Leiden of Variety gave the film a positive review where he praised the film's satire, music, and performances, and he says, sensationally exuberant, imaginatively crafted, and intoxicatingly clever, Josie and the Pussycats shrewdly recycles a trifling curio of 1970s pop culture kitsch as the linchpin for a freewheeling, candy-colored swirl of comic book adventure, girl power hijinks, and prickly satirical barbs. It vividly conveys key aspects of the zeitgeist without ever stinting on the crowd-pleasing fun and games. It's made for the megaplexes, but it's also one for the time capsule, which I think is so perfect for that. So it has stood the test of time. You go, Joe Leiden from Variety.
Thank you.
Yes, Joe. So anyway, so we're going to go ahead and open it up now to some questions from the audience. You guys are so welcome to line up behind here. Please state your name and your question.
My name is Anthony, and And my question is, who do you fangirl over?
Besides you, Anthony, who I met earlier today, guys, me and Anthony go way back. Anthony is in, what's that?
I said, aren't you pretty? I mean, you haven't aged at all.
Oh my God, you're wonderful. Guys, Anthony's
are not as close as I am.
He's an X-ray tech. Thank you. What was the question?
Who do you fangirl
Oh, who do I fangirl over? Let me think. The person I've definitely been the lamest in front of was Tim Robbins. Because, of course, Shawshank. And got Hudsucker Proxy. Well, I've seen Bob Roberts. I'd seen so many movies of his by the time I was gonna work, not alongside him very much in the movie, but on the movie Antitrust with Ryan Phillippe. Nobody warned me how tall he was gonna be. I just was really intimidated. And sometimes when people are like that big, I was like, he can't even hear me talking. I have to like yell a little bit. It was really, I was super awkward. I hope I never see him again in a nice way, because it's gonna make it go worse.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having her relive that. Thank you. Your name and your question. Go ahead.
Danielle. And my question is, what rom-com can you watch like nonstop? If it's on TV, if it's on a plane, like you just need comfort?
Let me see. Got all the John Hughes movies, Some Kind of Wonderful, Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, like all those. More recently loved Isn't It Romantic? The Rebel Wilson one. That's a must-see for fans of the genre.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. All right, Ninja Turtles, let's go. Give
Yes.
your name and
And
question.
your favorite turtle.
And your favorite Ninja Turtle, I like that.
Because he's a cool dude. Rad dude. Yeah, rad dude.
Johnny, I just wanted to ask, in the movie The 18th Angel, at the very end of it, what happened to your character? Because I was kind of blown away. I was like, was she bad? Was she end up being good? Because you just kind of ended, and I was like, what happened?
Agreed. That was not the most satisfying ending. I think the idea was for people to wonder if my character had like turned into the incarnation of the devil, if evil had in fact won. It's a lowercase s suspense movie that I made in 1997 with Chris McDonald, who's wonderful. I ran into about a year ago. He's doing great. I actually had lunch with that director, Bill Bindley. I should have asked him. But Bill's also doing very well. Yeah, that's what I remember. And that might have taken out the company Reicher Entertainment. I think it's the last movie they ever made. Whoopsie daisies. It's by the writer of The Omen, David Seltzer.
Thank you so much.
Sorry, I could not have been more help.
Does anybody else have any questions here? You can feel free to line up here at the, oh, we got another one. Come right on up. I feel like it's Price is Right. Let's go. Nerves. Get those nerves out.
Hello, my name is Lauren. I have a question. That my brother, he's 16, his favorite actor was Paul Walker. And do you have any memories with Paul Walker on She's All That? So,
Let me see. Paul, my favorite Paul story, and it's a real testament to his ability. We were shooting the scene where he shows up at my house and, sort of, it gives a very sort of heartfelt reason as to why Laney should go to the prom with him, and it's just so genuine despite being a duplicitous asshole in the movie. What he did is just sort of drop his persona as, Dean Sampson, I think is his character's name, and just sort of be, genuine and connecting as, Paul did kind of better than anybody. He just, when he's ready to sort of show who he is to you, it just reads, you know what I mean? And he's so just good and candid and present in that moment. I remember after cut, the A-camera operator turned to me and going, hell, I believed him. And that's all actors want. It's for the crew to notice when we do anything, because all they do is see actors act all day. They're like, whatever. They just are like, will I be home for dinner? So in moments like that, when you impress the crew, like I knew that someone else was really seeing the brilliance that I was seeing, and it made me really, really happy.
Yeah, it's just, it's been a decade since he's passed.
I can't believe it.
But his memory goes on in his movies.
Yes, 100%. One funny moment is I remember one time we were doing press for the movie, and we were stranded in a place called the Yucatan Peninsula, going to where we were going to publicize the movie in Cabo, and Paul was like, being Paul, like taking some time for himself, just like sitting on the ground with his back to the wall of this like almost abandoned little airport landing strip. I don't know what it was. It was, I'm sorry, not an emergency landing. We were just diverted for weather. It was whatever. And someone said, go tell Paul that, we're gonna be ready to go. And I went over, and he was, sitting with his back to the wall, and I'm me, and he's Paul. And I was like, okay, so we gotta go. And he's like, okay, sounds good. And I reached down to like give him like a hand up, and he just looked at me like, are you sure? but I could see he didn't want to like insult me, so he like let me pull him up, and yeah, that was hard. And but he was very graceful about it, and very, very sweet.
So nice. Thank you so much for your question. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. I think we have enough for maybe just you three, so I think we'll cut it off right here. That'll be the last one we do. Your name and your question, please.
My name is Corinne. Your movies just Pussycat dolls, and she's all that. Those are my comfort movies.
Thank you.
All the time. She's all that though is most iconic. Like you hear the Pussycat song, and you always think of that movie for me. But in the movie, when you were at the job for that meatball thing, that was hilarious. I just wanted to know, like, was that an actual place, or did y'all make that up for the movie?
That is made up for the movie, and I'm the one who requested the silly hat.
I heard that, actually.
I don't know why I did that.
But why though?
I hate myself. Like
it's
those.
super adorable looking at it today, but it's such a...
Well, I'm such a so sort of like sassy in that scene with Eldon beforehand. My favorite line in the movie is actually in that scene before the man comes in, where I'm talking to Eldon, my best friend Eldon Henson. I say, I kicked your ass in 3rd grade and I'll do it again. And he's obviously also much bigger than me. But I just remember thinking of those hilarious hot dog on a stick, kind of like outfits. They know that it's for the spectacle and whatever. And I just knew that with everything that had to happen in the scene, it would help to have a great visual indicator that, we still knew that the movie was a comedy.
Thank you so much for your question. Your name and your question, please.
Hi, my name is Tim. My question is about fan mail. One, do you still get fan mail? I know it's kind of like a dying art, but do you still get any? And do you have like a letter that stands out to you or anything that...
Oh, that's so nice of you. I'm sure you could leave it with somebody here. There's no need to get the postal service involved. Seems stress enough. I was able to do that for a long time. I worked through a company called Niche Out for a while too, where people could send stuff in. But in terms of being able to mail a letter, I don't think I've had an address that would work for that for some time. But you are right. It is a dying art.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
So much for
Tim.
your question. And your name and question. This will be our last question from the audience.
Hi, I'm Ben. I was wondering, from your first role to now, did you ever expect to be here? Honestly.
No one has ever asked me that. And I really, really appreciate that, because I think it's an excellent question. The answer is absolutely not. And I think the reason that I'm as grateful as I am, and that I will never be able to be just anything but that, is that I feel like I have been luckier than I have any right to be. I've already been rewarded in great excess of my abilities and worth for many years now. So I think I always wondered when the other shoe was going to drop, because I've always felt so lucky. Knock on something, damn it, Brandon. So the answer is no, I did not. But I I appreciate you guys all being here, and the fact that anything that I've done has resonated with you, like, that's the reason I get to keep working, so thank you.
Thank you.
And that's actually the perfect way for me to kind of wrap this up with one last thing I'm going to bring up that I'm hoping maybe you can give us a little more information on before we close it out for today. There she goes. I don't know, I tried to find as much information on it as possible. I couldn't find a release date. I only know I believe you're filming. You were filming it?
We're done.
You're done. Okay, let's talk a little bit. I'm pretty sure probably most of you maybe have not heard this because it was hard for me to kind of like find.
You are all over this.
I'm Ravenclaw, if you're a Harry Potter nerd, so I do my homework, guys. So, I mean, I'm a big fan, but also I love to deep dive stuff like that. Like, it gives me pleasure. So,
Brandon
anyway.
wants to know if he's allowed to sit down.
Which
yes, you're good. Thank you.
So can you tell us all a little bit about this upcoming project called There She Goes, what the premise is, and if you can give us some insight on when we'll be able to see it, so please talk to us about
Thank
that.
you. Also, I know that we're over time, so if anyone has to go to the bathroom.
We're fine, we'll do the last thing we're talking about right here.
Thank you. Yes, the movie's called There She Goes, and this sort of accidental three-word title resembling She's All That is also not an accident, in addition to being a great song. It's now going to be all of your heads. It's a movie that we finished filming top of June in upstate New York. It's myself, my very good friend Akash Ambedkar, if anyone's watching the show Ghosts. He's the hot husband on that. No one Ghost? Okay, great. He's in it. Yes, you know. It's a great show. It's such a good show. Oh my god, it's so funny. And he's so charming in it. Anyway, you guys should also watch Ghosts. I didn't know how this turned into a promo spot for Ghosts. Anyway, he's great. Ryan Hansen is in the movie. Wonderful comedic actor. The movie is about, you're gonna be like, wow, genius idea. Oh my god, I just saw a dead mouse. I'm so glad I didn't know you were over there this whole time. I think, no, that's not what you are. Sorry with the, anyway, sorry. You look great. The movie is about an actress. It's incredibly meta. I did not do concept on this. I just lived my life. And some writers said, hey, maybe we should just cannibalize your sort of real experience into the movie version of a romantic comedy. So the movie is about someone who's an actress, a la more of like maybe a Molly Ringwald level of fame more than me, who's very synonymous with romantic comedy, who doesn't believe in the big movie version of love. She's just like, that's a little bit, it's a little bit false advertising. It's mean, don't do that to people. I'm gonna stop making those kind of movies. And she is in a relationship with some, you know what, you should just watch the movie, but she has to, my notes on this cut are due by 9 a.m. Monday, so we're still working on it. Yeah, but it's going
to be
very well.
expected like within 2025? I mean,
Let me think. Yeah, it should be out 2025. Yes.
I don't have a full circle thing, guys. It is a bit meta.
Yes. I'm like, I'm so bad at summarizing because I didn't know you were going to ask about it. So anyway, she has to plan an anniversary party for very unhealthily married parents, or you know what? That was judgmental. It turns out they're fine. I'm not good at talking about this.
Okay, well, we're gonna watch it. We don't need to hear that every.
I'm so sorry.
But I do know that it is kind of based on Rachel's kind of personal experiences,
Really
sort of,
what knows.
and her not even kind of realizing also, and I've heard these in interviews, not the gravity of when She's All That dropped and how much of an impact it had, and how special it was, and how everyone kind of viewed her. I think we all have a bit of imposter syndrome probably through our lives, and she didn't actually have that, realize the gravity of it until it was kind of, it'd been out there for a while. It was kind of, years later. But what an amazing impact it has made on all of us. And so go check out There She Goes when it does come out, please.
It will come out at some point next year. And it's very satisfying, highly meta rom-com.
Love it. So go check it out. And also, I love your dog, Penny. I just wanted to say that. I saw her on Instagram. I'm a big dog person. I have a little dog named Bear. She has a dog named Penny. So cute. Go check her Instagram out. It's adorable. Anyway. So, Rachel, guys, have we just had the best time chat with Miss Rachael Leigh Cook?
Thank you so much for doing such incredible research.
You're very sweet.
You're awesome.
I will hire me for whatever you want. I'll get you water. I'll rub your feet. Whatever you need me to do.
You
Rachel.
too.
Well, once again, y'all give it up for Rachael Leigh Cook. Go check her out. Go get her photographs. Go get your autographs from her. She'll be here every Sunday. Sunday, guys.